Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build some model kits. We're working on a couple cool model kits today. I want to say hello to everyone that's watching. We're going to wait a few more moments, see if anybody wants to join us here on a Thursday evening. Harold is hosting the stream. Thank you, Harold, throwing the Bear Cave emote in there. If you're a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave emote, let people know. I'm going to sneeze. That we just started, and I know I'm going to sneeze at some point. Maybe it'll go away. I don't know. But yeah, I'm throwing the emote in there. Urban Buddha's here, says, yo, Pat, what's up? And Brown Lantern says, sup, man. Hello, Brown Lantern, happy to have you here. Brown Lantern, and Aristophanes here, says, good evening, good evening. Brown Lantern currently in third place for the Bits and Cheers leaderboard with one. Easily unseated at any moment. Um, but it is not a competition, even though I do post the results on the top there. Yeah, already a solid crew, waiting for a few more folks to join us. Reminder, this is around the time generally when people need to renew their monthly membership. If you're using Twitch Prime, if you have your Amazon Prime linked to Twitch and you get the coin, you have to manually renew that. It doesn't auto-renew. Some say that's a good thing. Some say it's a bad thing. I consider it bad. It would be great if you didn't have to think about it. Lashbrook's here. Always a pleasure, Lashbrook. Happy to have you here. For folks that tuned in last night for my Twitch Sing stream, thank you very much for that. We had a few new faces, a few people that joined us because they were looking at Twitch Sing streams or had just started following me or are just starting to check out the streams because of my appearance on the now Vice Games, then Waypoint Save Point stream. So folks are just starting to kind of check out what we do here. We already got a great amount of folks here watching, so we'll go to build in just a moment or two. I do like to give a moment for people to kind of trickle in, trickle the water. So, we have a full mechanics Bael from Iron Blooded Orphans. This is the full mechanics Bael here. We built the whole frame, and now we're building all the armor around it, which means that we'll be covering up some of these stickers. But we could, if we wanted to, display it by taking the armor off or taking partial armor off, and it's a fine-looking kit like that. It's a very sturdy kit. This thing stands up really easily. Even with its heels, it's still got some wide heels. And it's a fun kit. I've enjoyed it. And when that's done, we'll move on to the gun cannon detector, which is originally a Zeta Gundam model in red, but this blue version is because it reappeared in Unicorn, the OVA. And it's I like working on gunplay that's not a Gundam, and I like working on big weapon kits. Lashbrook says, I'm only here for 34 minutes because I have to see a man about electric moose. Muse, and I assume you mean mouse, and in which case, I hear you. I believe I will be seeing that movie on Saturday afternoon. I currently have no plans right now. I am trying to get together a small crew of people. Now, should I see it on the afternoon of Saturday? No, I should not see it on the afternoon of Saturday, unless I'm going with a couple who have kids. Boom, loophole. Now I can go in the afternoon, where there will be kids in the audience because I will be with parents. Bang, 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 bang. I mean, I honestly should just see it tomorrow afternoon where there aren't kids because that makes more sense. All right, let's go to the overhead shot. Let's get to building. So we have our frame here, as you can see. But yeah, I was going to see it tomorrow. And my movie partner, unfortunately, got a gig. Good for them. Very good for them. Bad for me, because I wanted to go see that movie tomorrow in the afternoon. But instead, I'm going to go Saturday afternoon, it looks like, with a couple who have two children. And those children are very excited about seeing that movie, which they should be. All right. Well, Brown Lantern, good luck on your discrete math final tomorrow. I will freely admit I do not know what discrete math is. And the only joke I can come up with on it is, if it's so discreet, should you be telling me about it? Bah, bah, bah. That's not a good joke, but it is a joke, technically. That was technically a joke. Um, but good luck on it. Quiet Mass. Oh, hello. Hi, Ultron. Happy to have you here. Yeah. Yeah, good luck with your quiet maths. But yeah, obviously, joking aside, good luck with your exam. Uh, you know, it's been a long time. Well, no. What am I saying? I haven't. I had today. I took a test. I was about to say I haven't taken a test in a long time. I had a test today. It was an aptitude test for the possibility of me doing some contract work, which I don't want to do at all. It is work that is something I could totally do, but you are on call constantly for it, which is not something I want. And it is not a full-time job, which is also not something that I want. So, yeah. So it wasn't the best thing, but I know I'm going to ace it, and it's money, right? It's a gig, it's whatever. Hopefully, I can. A lot of people do this, and it's basically, I'm basically applying for to be basically a tech temp, like a live, some theater stuff, some events like, oh, this book club is doing a fashion show, and they hired this company to staff it and like run tech, or these people are doing it off-site and they need someone to set up these computers and let them run PowerPoint and stuff like that. So I'm applying for that. I'm not. It's not something I want to do necessarily. I want a full-time job doing that stuff and not a contract position. But it is better than not having anything. So we'll see. But yeah, I had to take an aptitude test for that, which I'm going to be fine with. I'm taking another aptitude test next week for another job that is similar, but it is for a school, university here in New York. And it's basically just a job that everyone quits because the hours are so sporadic that people who do it just get a new job constantly. But I'm like, whatever. I mean, I'm gonna do it, and it is similar. Only it's going into classrooms and like setting up the equipment. It's knowing all the equipment. It's going into do networking with computers and such, and make sure overhead equipment works and a whole bunch of stuff. And so I'm going in to apply for that, and that is something that I'm overqualified for. And I was like, oh, am I just going to be working with a bunch of folks that are in college or just got out of college? And the answer is yes, there'll be a lot of those people. But also there'll be a lot of people like me who are either in between full-time gigs or looking to go freelance, and this is just one of their jobs, which I'm not looking to do. I want to make it very clear, and I have made it very clear with every conversation I've had about what's going on with me, Pat Baer. I don't want to be a freelancer. I don't want to do contract work. I don't want to do work at a bunch of different theaters as part-time employee at a bunch and hustle and do all that. No, I don't want that. I want a new full-time job that I work full-time hours for and then do stuff on the side like this. But that might not be possible. So we'll see. But in the meantime, at the very least, I can do some stuff to, pay my bills. Maybe not have to go into my savings as much. That might be nice. One thing I want to point out here is we were doing our shoulder armor here, and this isn't a sticker. This is a cutout of the piece here. Of the white piece is a cutout, and the blue is underneath. And it's not like that on the other side. The other side has no cutout, and that's interesting. That's kind of unique. Instead of doing a sticker, it is just a cutout of the piece. I quite like that. That is a unique thing. Now, it does mean that you can't really mod it too much, or you'd have to fill in the that if you wanted to not have that be there. Um, but I still think it's pretty cool. And I love they need to do that more often. Ultron, I don't disagree with you. I like it a lot. I think it's very cool. Instead of relying on that being a sticker, they did the work for you, and I think it's really sharp looking, and I think it looks very cool. And also, unlike say a sticker, isn't going to fade if it was in, you know, or it'll all fade together instead of a sticker which is going to have a different fade from the plastic. If this was on display consistently, which it's not going to be. But yeah, overall, I quite like that. It's a nice little touch. Yeah, if I was going to mod this, it might be annoying. I might have to like fill it or something if I was going to paint or whatever, but I'm not. So instead, I just think it looks cool. And also means that I didn't fuck this sticker up because it's not a sticker. If it's not a sticker, I can't fuck it up. So that's great. Um, I looked at Macross Delta kits today, and oh boy, you want to talk about stickers. Ugh. I mean, we had a lot of stickers on this. The thing about this is because we're uh, working on a full mechanics, is a lot of these stickers are going to get covered up. So not only do we have to do a bunch of stickers, we then make it so you can't see them anymore, and that's weird. Hi. Urbina, happy to have you here. Welcome to the stream and to the chat. Thanks everybody for joining me tonight. Um, uh, Today was an interesting day. You know, talking a bit about I took an aptitude test, and I've got another one coming up to kind of like see if I can get this, you know, gig or whatever. Another thing that I did today was, and this felt weird. So, y'all know, or most of you I would say know, that my full-time job came to an end in February at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. I worked in the East Village location. Well, they have been selling off a lot of stuff because they closed one of the theaters, and they also had a bunch of stuff they just didn't need in the primary theater. So they've been doing some sales, and they've been selling stuff off, and now they're just giving things away. So I wasn't going to go and buy some things. I mean, I could have looked to see what they had for sale, but like, while I should have gone and bought like cheap mics or XLR cables, stuff that like would have benefited me and I would have been nice to have in my personal collection, I didn't because my heart wasn't like I couldn't just go in there. I couldn't be in that space. I just mentally was unprepared to be in that environment. But now it's May and they were giving things away, so I went in there and I mostly came out with a lot of adapters and cables, just stuff that's great to have. I got so many USB to micro uh, um, adapters, like so, and mini adapters. Because micro you can find just about anywhere. Micro is any most phones that aren't Apple use micro, right? But mini, not a lot of stuff use mini. But my H4n audio recorder uses mini to USB, and I only have one of those cables. So now I got a bunch of those. I got some lightning cables. I got some 8-inch, the headphone jack to RCA. I got 8-inch to quarter-inch. The PSP uses that, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit older models will use it, but it's not something I didn't have a lot of extra of mini, and I also didn't have a lot of micro, and I use a bunch of micro stuff. So also I got one micro that's really long, and that's awesome to have. So these are just adapters that were like I knew to be good, and then I also got a clock that like cost a lot of money. It's a digital clock that's programmable. The remote was missing, so I don't know where the remote is, which is annoying. I wish that I had the remote, but I can buy the remote online for way cheaper than. Also, I think I can network with it if I want. I think there's a way to program it without using the remote if I want to try to do that. But this clock is like very cool. It's a very cool like digital programmable clock. Like you can use it as a countdown clock. You can use it just as a regular thing. They're very I think it's like $400. So I was very happy to walk away with one of those for nothing. Uh, so yeah, so that was like it was weird because I went back to the place that I haven't been to since I stopped working there in February, and then I went and had lunch at the Two Boots Pizza that's right next door, where I ate a lot of pizza while we were there. The years that I was in that building, I ate a lot of pizza from that pizza place. So I had lunch there, and that felt weird as well. Um, I also got like another like power strip because you can never have enough of those. So that's nice to have. And then what else did I get? I got one more thing that was like I was happy to get. Oh, it's very cheap, but it was just like there was a box of a bunch of like odds and ends, and I found um, a flusher for the toilet, the actual like presser and the lever, and it's cheap plastic, but that's just a nice thing to have. Like my landlord will come and fix our toilet if we have a problem, but why not just have that as an emergency? I was like, well, this is not going to take up room in my bag, so I'm going to take it. Uh, it was also just kind of nice to get a few odds and ends, things that I was like, these are nice to have. Like I said, a bunch of adapters. Like I have to go through and sort them, and I have to test all of them because I didn't test them there. So I got to like get out some equipment to do some proper testing of all of it. But I'm not expecting. I'm expecting most of it to work because a lot of it was gear that I used. Oh, one thing I did have that was pretty cool because I'll get into the Brown Lantern. I'll get into that in a second. Um, One thing I did also get is someone had made for UCB's video branch. They made a little mic box thing, a little box that you put on a mic that has like the station ID, and this one says UCB Comedy. But it's the perfect size for most microphones, and I can easily make it with League of Heels logo. I can put a League of Heels sticker on all four sides, or just paper and then tape over, and that way, like my mic could have like a stick on it, or on the stick mic. That would be really easy to do, and I think it would look very cool for League of Heels. So I grabbed that because it's not. Those are a little annoying to make. They're not impossible to make. It's something I could do, but I also like before West, I can like print out what I want to put on there and like do a craft project with it. The foam might be a little too thick for some mics, but it's easy enough to shove it in there and get it going. Yes, I think that would be fun. So Brown Lantern said, because I said I want to say, so I didn't sleep last night because I was just up reading about all that wild drama going on Twitter last night. So I assume this is Game Grumps related. Now I should say this. I said this on Twitter a little flippantly, and I apologize for that because there's some real wild shit going on with that isn't related to anything that I had to say. But it's this weird thing where the internet is a very big place full of million subscriber YouTube channels, but also it's very easy to just like know nothing about a thing. You can know nothing about an incredibly popular thing. Like think about all of the people that watch kind of funny videos, and then think about all the people who have never heard of it and will never hear of it ever. Because the internet is such a big place and there's so much out there that you can go, like I've never seen a Game Grumps video. That is not me saying anything positive or negative about Game Grumps. I just literally have never had any reactions to them. And I used to be like, yeah, I like it, but they're very popular and people know them and people love them, and clearly they have their supporters, and you're always going to have people that are like more than willing to go out on a limb about those things. But I realized like sometime last year, because the Game Grumps came up like when people started talking about how weird it was the Game Grumps were like publishing and producing a video game that was like Dream Daddy. Like, what? That's weird. And it was weird. And so I kind of like got to like learn a little bit more about them because of people being like, this is weird. Because I didn't really know anything about them. And then I realized, oh, I had been listening to a Game Grump for quite some time in like 2017 or maybe 2018. Ross from Game Grumps, his wife at the time, who comes up in certain things that are happening now, Holly, has her own YouTube channel, and I watched her do a Let's Play of Pokemon Sun, Pokemon Ultra. Yeah, no, it was Pokemon Sun. She did like a bird only and did all the voices, and her husband Ross did all the voices as well. So I realized I have seen I have listened to a Game Grump quite a bit, and then because the world is small and weird, Holly is part of Dice Camera Action, who I have made it very much known. I know nothing about except that that at PAX Unplugged they weren't doing a great job of being good neighbors at PAX Unplugged vis-a-vis Brandlands. And then I was like, oh, I know that voice. I don't know who that is, and realized like, oh, Holly was there. So I've seen her as of PAX East. She was like one table away from me, and I was like, oh yeah, I watched a bunch of her videos. And then when she finished with that Let's Play, I stopped watching her channel because I wasn't interested in anything else she was doing, which is rude of me to say out loud, but true. Of course, I don't know much about the rest of this stuff that's going on. Accusations are you don't love to see that kind of stuff, and also like bare minimums, like you just don't. You just want people to be good people, and becoming YouTube famous doesn't make you a good person. Any kind of fame doesn't change you for the positive. It may, upon reflection, make you better because it how the internet and fame can make you a better person is thus. This is the roadmap. You are yourself based on your interactions with other people and the community that you are part of, and you are reflective of your nurture, your society. The internet is way vaster than your little part of your world. Other communities, going to college, getting a job, and moving to a new city, all those things can change you for the better. So in that way, suddenly being exposed to other people and having those people be like, hi, we like you. Please don't say this shit. Please don't act this way. Please apologize for what you just did. Can change you for the better. But often what ends up happening is you are you, and then you are just you with money and influence out of nowhere, and sycophants telling you that everything you do is good and right and fuck the haters. When the haters sometimes are just fucking haters, but sometimes haters are just people who are like asking you to do a thing you don't want to do, even if it's for the best. So I have a lot of sympathy for people who are suddenly presented with an actual reality that is unlike the reality that they have presented for themselves, and suddenly have to grow and change as a person. Well, Brown Lantern, I've been doing this for a while. Like, I'm going to be 39 in a month. I have seen the rise and fall. I've seen all those things. A little ways back when I publicly said that a shitty person was a shitty person and got a bunch of heat for it. I recognized that a lot of heat I was getting for it was people who didn't want to admit that the person they liked and were really a fan of was fallible and like wrong and needed room to grow. And like I can be aware of that because I also like am like that where I have to go, oh, well, the person I like just fucked up. So I have to make decisions on that based on the information I have, whether or not I can like stand by my friend who's fucking up, or the person I just like on the internet who's fucking up, or if we're done here. Uh, and it's rough. It's a rough thing to kind of have that come up. So there'll be a lot of people like you saw it there, right? Uh, a reaction that's happening on the internet right now is not fuck this dude, fuck this shit. It's how dare you bring this up and possibly ruin our good time. Which is also a lot of stuff when the person that I called a shithead, and then a couple weeks later said a worse things, and people were like, oh wait, we can be mean to this guy now. The tide has turned. Because unfortunately, that's a real thing that a lot of people have to do. Like, it's easy for Game Press to be like, Randy Pitchford, shut the fuck up. It's not easy for game developers or game producers or heads of studios to be like, Randy Pitchford, what the fuck are you doing? They can't do that right now. Some might, but most can't. But there will hit a swing point, a precipice. There will hit a point, theoretically, where people will be like, actually, fuck Randy Pitchford. What the fuck? It hasn't happened yet, but it might. I mean, that happened with Colin, who is the person I'm talking about, where enough people were like, all right, well, we're at the point now where I can say what I want to say and still continue to work with Kind of Funny because you are definitely getting fucked on this one. So I can say what I want to say and not have Greg be mad at me, which happened with me. Greg Miller was very mad at me for out of nowhere saying mean things about his friend and coworker. So it's totally like, yeah, I mean, Brown Lantern, Greg and I have worked out our issue. I have no ill will towards Greg in general, I should say. But the thing that I try to say when people talk about that is, so most people who were publicly talking about Colin were folks that had nothing to do with Kind of Funny, or folks that talked about everyone like him, and they weren't being explicit about it, and they were hedging their bets on it, or they were people who like Bob Mackey, who was barely in the industry anymore. But to me, if Bob Mackey's talking shit, you get fucked up, and you're shit. And that ended up being what people said about me when I was like, when Colin had some tweet about like, oh, I really wish I could, I wasn't going to PAX East so I could really untangle this thing. And it was people, it was, he wanted to write an op-ed about the folks that were like, hey, this cultural appropriation going on in Horizon Zero Dawn sucks. And your response to it sucks. And he wanted to write something about that, about like how they were wrong. And so he said something like, oh, I wish I wasn't going to PAX East. And then I retweeted going, I also wish you weren't going to PAX East. Which is pretty good. So that was pretty good. I'll pat myself on the back for that one. I still think that one was pretty good. But like, I wasn't known for doing that, and because I'm not that guy. And the number one thing I got from people is, oh, I don't really know Colin, but if Pat thinks he sucks, he definitely sucks. Which I take to, that is a responsibility. It's not the thing that I thought I would be known for on the internet. Actual sincerity is the thing that is part of me on the internet because it's part of my life. But I didn't think that at the time, like, I was like, oh, cool. I built that reputation as somebody that, like, when when this person says stuff, it's because they mean it. So if they're saying like this dude sucks, I guess he sucks. Um, and then it was, and I got some heat for that. I got some heat on Tumblr, and I got some heat from Colin's fans who, because Colin, like, it was this weird thing where Colin's big response was like, "Well, I've never heard of you, so what? Who cares?" But he retweeted me so that his fans would attack me, which they did. And then, like, people who liked me, defended me or agreed. Some people that hadn't been able to talk about it were able to talk about it. I heard from folks in, privately and publicly within the Kind of Funny community that were happy that someone had said something, because they always had to begrudgingly accept him and his views because they liked, the site, and they liked the other people involved. And then, like, yeah, some folks decided that they were going to side with him and couldn't be cool with me. And that was their choice. And I got a few people after he then said some terrible joke that people were like, okay, can we... This was not the nomenclature at the time. Or if it was, it wasn't a popular one. But there was a moment where collectively the games industry and games journalism were just like, oh, we're done. There was a bunch of this when John Bain died too, which is slightly thornier because he wasn't quite as much of an asshole. And also dying is a lot different from outing yourself as a bigot shithead. Yes, Iron Pita. That is somewhat of a different situation, clearly. A lot of that is that, like, people were finally able to, when you give people, oh yes, yeah, yeah, that's like a whole other thing, and I agree with that. But what I will say, the thing that it does have in common is, at a certain time, in a certain place, in a certain venue, you can give people the opportunity to finally say the shit they want to say because they are unable to talk about it. Like, this is different but similar. It would behoove me to not talk about layoffs that are happening in a comic publisher, because that comic publisher has friends of mine that work there and have been very good to me in the past. It would probably behoove me not to reference what happened and how some very cool, good people were laid off, and kind of looks like that almost everyone except one person that was laid off is a person of color, or identifies as a woman, or both. And that's shit. It would behoove me not to talk about that. But I'm not in the comics industry, so I can talk about it if I want to. I'm free to talk about it because I'm just a guy that hangs out with people in the comics industry. And the same thing with the games industry. So I could talk about Colin, because even though I co-produce a show full of game people, and I did have one person who was semi-related to that to be like, hey, I feel really uncomfortable now with what Pat said. It's like, okay. I had my own Colin-related drama with the podcast. A friend of mine who runs a game site and is mayor of his town was interviewed by Colin for his site shortly after appearing on my show. I was seriously considering not publishing that episode. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. But yeah, I'm not in the games industry, right? So, like, I generally only, like, say things if I generally only hold back because I want to protect my friends, right? Because that my friends are important, obviously. Obviously, if you know anything about me, like, I care very much about the people I care about, and I want them to be respected. Now, that being said, that means that my friend who works for Gearbox, I'm not going to say her name when I talk about Gearbox shit, because I don't want her to deal with any consequences from me. But at the same time, I'm not going to not talk about that shit just because I have friends who work for that company or worked for that company. So my friend who is a Gearbox employee who is doing voice work in Borderlands 3, I hope that this current situation means that someone, in order to protect Gearbox, not to protect the people, to protect Gearbox, is going to write up a contract where the employees of Gearbox who are doing voices in that game actually get paid. Perhaps just in royalties for future. Perhaps an actual payment. They say that it is not mandatory to do this stuff, but also is something you do outside your job. And in the case, obviously, of the guy that now works for Rooster Teeth, a guy that just was a vice president, obviously taken care of, he's more than just an hourly employee and salary employee. Like, the voice of Claptrap wasn't a voice actor. That's nonsense. Claptrap is one of the most iconic video game characters of this, like, decade. And the fact that, like, it was just, like, the VP of, like, a division is unbelievable nonsense. Like, what the fuck? So I'm not going to name names about my friend, but I also hope that my friend gets taken care of. I'm not going to not talk about it just because I have a friend that works there. Obviously, the exception being if my friend said, like, hey, could you delete this? Then yes, then of course. Then that's me looking out for my friend and me taking care of stuff. But I also know that I don't have the reach of that stuff. I mostly have the reach of other people that I know and like more than anything. Yeah, that's my thing. Like, I have opinions on there are things that I don't talk about because it doesn't help anyone and it doesn't benefit anyone. But there are other times where it's like, well, if I can talk about this, maybe I can help out some people. Maybe I can shed some light on some stuff, make people aware of some things, that kind of thing. That's, I'm on the internet. I am a person on the internet, so, like, I still can bring some stuff to the table. Like, me talking about Vice Games, I was like, well, I'm going to tweet about it. Like, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say my feelings on it. And also, I'm not saying that anything I've said tonight or anything ever in general. I'm not saying that I have specific examples where this is true. I'm speaking in a generality and an assumption. But sometimes, folks that aren't in a thing can say the things that some people who are embroiled in a thing agree with and also think. I am not saying that it's happening in this case. I'm not saying that's definitely what's happening in this case. That maybe some statements I've made about how some decisions were made maybe are totally 100% agreed upon by another party. But that certainly has happened before. That's why leaks happen, right? That's why like, people reach out to games journalists and, journalism in general, but, in this case, games journalists, when they're like, okay, well, this is worth the risk because I need to talk to somebody who can say some shit like this out loud. Because I can't do it. Yeah, and the hope is that you're able to make a bit of a difference, to be able to speak for the people that can't speak about things. That's the hope anyway. All right. So we are done with almost all the armor here. Let's see there. We've got a little bit left to do. We're going to work on some weapons. We got to work on our backpack. Our backpack is basically not a backpack, but like our bag thing here. There's like a thing for the swords because this kit only really has swords. That's it. So we're going to build that next. Got to build our blades and our wings. Our blades and our wings are basically all we've got left. But yeah, I don't know. It's all a mess, and some of that shit is really messy, and especially with the Game Grumps stuff. Like, I don't know all the details because I haven't fully investigated all details. So, um, but yeah, it's rough. It's rough shit when you're like, I can feel for people that are like, no, but I want to live in denial because denial makes it easier for me to continue to like the thing I like. Like, I get it. I get that. I'm never gonna be like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't understand that uh, feeling. But at a certain point, you have to be like, no thanks. Oh wait, no thanks. I actually fuck this shit. A thing that I've been trying to like have conversations with some friends of mine about and this is a really tricky one, right? When when is it when is the company you keep like a deal breaker, right? And I'm going to speak in very vague generalities here. One, because I haven't figured it all out yet myself, and two, because I haven't figured it out, and I don't want to like have things said that I can't take back. So it here so it's the thing of, let's say someone's trash, right? You don't want anything to do with them. You don't want to participate with them because they're trash, and they're not here to do good or to do anything worthwhile. So why would you waste your time on that, right? But you have a friend who isn't in that position. They see things you don't see, or they don't see things that you see, or they just, for whatever reason, have chosen to be like, well, there's the shitty version of this dude, but there's this good version, or we have history, or I know him better than you or differently than you, so I'm making these decisions. And you're like, well, that's shitty, but you're your own person and you can make your own call. But when is that too much? When do you go, you associating with this person makes me like you less? Or it would be unhealthy for me to continue to be your friend because of the person you associate with is so toxic. And I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that yet. And I've been trying to think about it because I very clearly have someone in my life like that, and I'm trying to figure out how to deal with that. And I don't have the answer yet. Because in some ways it's like, well, we all make our own choices, and you have to be like, okay, well, whatever. Like because in certain respects, I know the answer that I have chosen in the past. I was very good friends with someone who started seeing someone that was just awful. He'd been awful to me so much in the past, and I had no interest in continuing to give that person any sort of time or energy in my life. But they were dating someone that I liked a lot. So it was like, okay, well, do I hang out with the two of you? You're a couple? Do I, because I want to see my friend? Do I continue to hang out with someone I don't like? Or do I cut this person out of my life because the person they're choosing to be with is awful? And so what I ended up doing was just nothing. I just let it happen where, weirdly enough, this is the weird part, everyone did what I did, which was just like kind of give up on it and like not make a deal out of it, not make ultimatums, but just kind of be like, we're not going to hang out. We're not going to make a big deal out of it, but we're also just going to kind of peace out on this. Funnily enough, a very coked out version of that gentleman that I have issues with saw that I was on Facebook. I had a tab open on Facebook, but I was not in the same room as my computer. So it looked like I was online. And he sent me a bunch of messages about like, her and how I fucked it up and he won and all this stuff. And he pretends that didn't happen. It's in Facebook Messenger. So every once in a while he'll send me a message about something completely unrelated and just kind of pretend like he didn't send me a bunch of nonsense. And they have a kid together, so like good for them. Happy for them. Not really, but whatever. I mean, not really, but it is what it is. And I'm sorry that happened with one of your good friends, Brown Lantern. But it's a thing where it's like, so I have in the past been like, okay, well, this is no, and other people haven't. Other people are like, whatever, we're gonna keep our friends. Uh, Ultron says, I quit a gaming group full of IT bros a childhood friend invited me to, and they got super racist and misogynistic after, say, 2017, and I dropped the ball. Took a lot of nerve for me to do it, but I don't regret it. Ultron, I mean, like, honestly, in my experience, ditching a group is easier than ditching a person. But it's still very hard. And by that, I just mean that, like, obviously that's fucking rough. And congratulations, Ultron. I'm glad you had the temerity to do that. That's awesome. I'm very proud of you for that. But it is a thing where it's like, if you're the one that's like, I'm out, y'all are still together, that to me is like hard, but it's you just pulling yourself away. It's different than being like, well, I can't hang out with this person anymore. And you have friends who are like, I'm still going to do it. That can be rough. And I've been in that situation a few times. And it is really rough. And like I said, I don't have the answers. But like, there's somebody I like a lot in this world and I think is great. But if they go to brunch with a racist shithead, why am I friends with this person still? Why am I giving this person the benefit of the doubt when they are engaging with an awful person? Like what? I know I'm going to run into them one day and it'll be super weird. Well, Ultron, my hope is that it won't be weird, that it will just be a thing, that it will be that everyone will be adult about it. Sometimes, I mean, I've had this run in too. I've had a few, I have a few people that don't like me in this world, and the New York comedy scene is small, but it's also not small. And so sometimes you run into people after like 5 years, or people move to LA and just run into them, and hopefully you can be cordial about it. That's the hope anyway, is that adults can be adult about it when these situations arise. For me, if there's a person in my life being terrible, I'm the guy who's willing to be the asshole who says something about it. Iron Bina, I am also that person. In general, I am generally quick to be like, "No, fuck this." I have said this before. It is generally my philosophy that, like, especially in the comedy world that that I still do a lot of stuff in, nobody's fucking making any money. So why am I working with someone who sucks? I mean, if there's money on the line, if it's a job, then you suck it up and you do what you have to do because people need to feed themselves and all that. But like, if this is just like, if I'm in a improv group and it's costing us money to do this, why would I be in an improv group with someone who fucking sucks and is shitty and awful? Why would I spend money to have a bad time? And that is sketch groups and video groups and all that stuff. Like anything like that. That has generally been my philosophy. Like, no thanks. I don't got time for that. If it's a work environment, if it's a fellow employee that sucks, like, yeah, you grin and bear it. You make do with what you can. You hope that things will work out. Maybe you say something to somebody and it actually brings people together in general distaste and distrust of a person. Like, you know, that can be cathartic in some instances. But in general, yeah, if it's your gaming group, fuck it, man. If it's your D&D crew and someone fucking sucks and is like just making it miserable, like fuck that. That's your free time. That's your good. That's the time you designated to fucking not feel bad. You don't need you shouldn't have experienced that. It shouldn't be part of it. It's like, no, 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 none of that. Uh, Armina says, I'm fairly privileged that I can survive via self-employment, so I don't have to worry about work implications telling shitty people off. Yeah, that is helpful. And then also, like, the hope is that sometimes you can go, is that, you know, there is arbitration, there is people who agree with you, you know, HR is not your friends, but sometimes it can be. You shouldn't depend on it. I want to say hi to everybody who's watching right now. Hello. Bunch of viewers here. This is the Build with Baer workshop. Building, we're finishing up the Gundam Bael here. The full mechanics. We're just finishing up the weapons, which just look so nice. They just look so nice. These cool swords. We're finishing that up, and then we're going to start another kit. But happy to have you here. Consider giving me a follow if you'd like to do that. We've got a good number of folks here tonight, which is always very nice. But yeah, we're almost ready to put on the back here. But yeah, here are our swords. So basically the swords kind of live in the back, and then you can remove them, which is pretty neat. And then we'll get the piece we need to connect those two together, which is F4. Great. Oh, I need to see. All right, folks. Chris Kohler put up a goofy poll that said, having trouble deciding, I'm just going to put this up for a vote, which is a meme. And it's Ralph Baer versus Pat Baer. And I'm currently winning 70% to 30%, which is just a silly goof thing. But also makes me laugh. I think retweeting it, I did fuck with the results by retweeting. Because he didn't tag me in it. I just happened to see it. And I think that's very, very funny. Hello, Lord Crashington. Welcome. Happy to have you here, as always. All right, so I put these gold stickers on. I did a good job with these stickers. You can see that there. I put these stickers on, and now we're going to put thing. That's the full mechanics bullshit. The thing that sucks is like, why did I put these stickers on? And you're going to make me do this? All right, fine. All right, and then we've got, so our swords are now in place. On the back there, you can see our swords are in the back doing their thing. Cover stickers up. Yeah, I know, Brown Lantern. Like, there are a bunch of stickers. Now, obviously, it's because you could take the armor off and display it without the armor. And so they, have you put stickers on, but, that's annoying. I don't love that. Most of the stickers we put on this kit are just not seen. All right, so we finished that. Now we have to do the backpack, which is B here. So we'll do that. One thing about the full mechanics kits, there's no rubber pieces, so that's always kind of interesting. Meanwhile, our next kit, the gun cannon detector, has lots of rubber in it. It's kind of interesting. All right, so we got to do 2 of these because we're working on the backpack. This and this. There. Kind of do it at the same time. Yeah, it's a weird thing about the full mechanics kit. Putting stickers on pieces that you've covered up is kind of odd, but it is just part of the kit. Still have a little bit of stickers left. I don't know where those go. I think they go somewhere on this, is my assumption. Yes, they go on the, we put some stickers on our wings things. All right, so put that there, and then we need G2. Oops, oh no. G. We haven't done anything with G yet, so you know that is a special piece of it. Feature. The gun detector has a mini banana hammock feature. The gun detector is... The gun cannon detector is such a weird kit. I love it. I love the weapons of it. When I started looking at the RE100 line, that was one that like really caught my eye because I remember the Zeta version, and because I hadn't at the time checked out any of Unicorn, so I didn't realize that it was back in a different color scheme. So it was like a nice, pleasant surprise for me to be like, "Oh, that kit, cool." So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to putting that together next, which we'll do. We're going to take a break in a moment or two. We'll do a pause for the cause, talk about ways you can support the stream and the channel and all that other fine things. Talk about the charity thing that I'm doing next Saturday, which I need to keep confirming people for. Hopefully I'll be able to do that more soon. Talk about a bunch of stuff. And then we'll talk about some anime, because there's a bunch of anime stuff to talk about as we get into the usual. Okay, so but yeah, just gonna finish up this, and then we'll take our pause for the cause here in a moment. And yeah, got some anime stuff to talk about. Some good shows. Today is the 9th of May, and that makes it, I guess, Goku Day. Goku. Technically, I guess that makes it Goku Day. But my favorite thing is that while it is technically Goku Day, apparently it's also Piccolo Day. And I don't know why it's Piccolo Day, but it's also Piccolo Day, and that makes me laugh a lot that it's both. So it's Goku Day because it's 5-9 or 9-5, I guess. Go and Ku. So yeah. You're fundamentally against pun holidays or crash. I can see that. Yeah, I mean, I think like canonical birth dates, canonical death dates, anniversaries of things, I think are probably better. I do like the idea of it. The only reason it seems to be Piccolo Day is because it's Goku Day. There might be another reason, but as far as I can tell, that's the reason, and that makes me laugh a lot. So I'll be up. I'm up for that. There might be another reason, but as far as I could tell, that was the reason. But yeah, I can understand what you're saying. I think a lot of them are stretches, and I don't really like it. But I do think May the 4th is kind of fun. I think that's kind of a fun idea. I'm not super against it. I am against what it's become, or what it's built in other like fake holiday days. But I'm sorry about May the 4th, because covers up being the anniversary of the Kent State shootings, which is a local thing here. Well, Lord Crushington, that's a very good reason, certainly. And I'm obviously wouldn't take that away from you. That does certainly overshadow the day, and that is a perfectly fine reason to be against it, to have May 4th be a Remembrance Day and not a day to celebrate Star Wars, because the Force and the 4th are a little similar. We celebrate Star Wars Day every day anyway. You're not wrong there. Every day is Star Wars Day if you like Star Wars, or you hate Star Wars. Every day is Star Wars Day because you like hating things. All right, I'm going to take a break here. We are working on, we've got a bunch of components here for our wings, our backpack thing. So we will put these aside here. Good night, Harold. Happy to have you here. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Yeah, so this is a quickly thing. Just want to say hello. If you are a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave emote, the Lego emote in there. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Thank you for your continued support. If you're if you're here, consider giving me a follow or maybe becoming a subscriber. You can use your Twitch coin, which is when you link your Amazon Prime account with your Twitch account, you suddenly have the ability to subscribe to someone for free, and you could do that with me, and that would be awesome. Um, uh, you get some cool emotes. You get the benefit of me knowing that folks want to continue to watch these streams. The numbers go up. It's nice when the numbers go up. Obviously, none of it's something you have to do, but it certainly is awesome. So I very much appreciate folks that are able to. Jam's here. Hi, Jam. And then also, yeah, it's nice for me to know that folks are enjoying what I do. Bits and coins, always appreciated. There is the leaderboard above the chat. You can see the leaderboard there. Harold in first, followed by Road, and then Brown Lantern. And that resets every month, and that's just a little thing. It doesn't really do much, but bits and coins are always appreciated. If being on Twitch doesn't do it for you as far as being able to be supportive, consider joining my Patreon. You get videos a day early. So, like on a Tuesday, you'll get my background and characters that go up on Wednesday. You can get that on Tuesday. You'll get the mailbag videos early. As soon as the stream is over, I will start uploading the archive, the YouTube archive, and you'll get that later tonight. So if you join my Patreon at the $5 level, you get the video early. And $10 get to vote on things I build. Speaking of building, so this kit I bought with money I made from streaming. The next kit we're going to build, I got sent by someone anonymously. The gun cannon was on my wish list, and somebody bought it and sent it to me. Now, a new thing on my wish list since Monday is it's a little pricey. I don't know. It's no idea like what it's gonna like how it's gonna work. I thought to myself, you know what I've never built is just like a car. What if I built like a car? And oh, weird. The 86 is on there. So there's an initial D model kit on my wish list. Because Takami's like 86. I-86, I'd like to build that. It is a wonderful car, and like I've never built like a real world model kit on this stream. So I put that in there because I thought that'd be like a fun, weird thing. So that's my Amazon wish list, which I'm going to put in chat now. Anything bought on the wish list jumps ahead of the queue. So the gun cannon is jumping ahead of the other things I had to build because somebody bought it on my wish list. So there's a bunch of things on there. You can take a look. If there's something that you always wanted to see me build on the stream that you'd be interested in purchasing that isn't on the stream or isn't on my wish list, let me know. And if it's available on Amazon, I'd be more than willing to put that up there. Because if you're really into it, I would probably like it. I would probably want to build it. I've got a few other things up in there. And then I have a coffee. One-time donations always appreciated. They don't take a cut. You just pay for, the usual, like, PayPal fees. Coffee's a great little service for one-time donations. And anything I make from coffee, from Patreon, from Twitch, my YouTube, when I'll get another payout someday. All that goes back into me buying model kits and equipment for the stream. It all funnels back in, plus money that I spend on my own. Which is why stuff bought on the wish list is huge for me, because it means that I can put funds towards other things. Eventually, I'd like to upgrade my lighting rig, my lighting system, into something that is much more... like, I would love to be able to put a light behind my chair that points up. I think having an LED light down there pointing up or a fluorescent, most likely an LED, would like really help me out. And that's the thing that I would like to do at some point. But of course, I'd like to get a full-time job before I start investing money into that equipment. Before we get back into building, real quick, I have the Discord, the Build with Bear Community Discord. Feel free to join that. It's a fun little one. I check it every day. People post photos of stuff they're working on. People promote their own streams. Folks ask questions and talk to each other, and it's a nice little Discord community. And then I have my charity stream on Saturday, the 18th, which is a week from this Saturday. I am doing a charity stream. Playing Jackbox games. I will have some friends joining me, and then I will also be playing with the chat, and we'll be raising money for St. Jude. I've joined Kate Stark's Chat Loaf and Friends, so we are going to try to raise money. My goal is to raise $500, which I think we can do, and I'll have some incentives, and it'll be fun. And then I have Background and Characters, which is my weekly comedy video. I do a new character based on an image I put on a green screen. This image, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, I'm doing a character. And I knew exactly what I was going to do. This week's one, I think, is pretty funny. So check that out if you want to see a fun thing that I do. And now we're going to get back into building. We're going to continue to work on our backpack wings thing here. The thruster wings. And I'll talk about some anime. This is 86 kit a snap kit? Yes, Jam. It should be. I believe it is. If it's a glue kit, then I do my first glue kit in 30 years? Less than 30 years, but a long time. It's a plastic model kit, so I believe it is a snap kit. Plastic model that requires assembly and painting is what it says, but I believe it's a snap kit. I don't know. It's got... Let's see. Oh, no! It says plastic cement is required. That might mean it is not a snap kit. I may have put my first ever non-snap kit on up. Oh no, it's not. It's paint and glue. Well, I'm gonna leave it up. Oh God, I don't know if I should leave it up because someone's gonna buy it, and then am I gonna build that? How am I gonna build that? Yikes, that's scary. I'd have to do. I'm gonna look. I'm leaving it up. If someone wants me to build that, they'll buy it. I'm never gonna buy it myself. But if someone wants me to build that thing, I guess I will fucking figure it out. Oh boy. Do a lot of research online about how to do a... Yeah. Yes, Lord Crashington, indeed. I definitely have put some cardboard down on the table. Because I don't know how I would pull that off. I mean, I certainly wouldn't paint it. I guess I would build it as is. Oh, that's scary. That's a scary thought. Anyway, so first off, we're going to talk about some anime some shows I watch. You know, talk about the shows I'm into. We'll start with Black Clover. Black Clover was a special episode. This one, it was. We knew it was coming. They had said it was coming. That it wasn't going to be a regular episode. That it was going to be like an SP. And so I was prepared for it, but I wasn't prepared for it to be mostly stuff we've already seen. So I was like, oh, it'll probably be like a side thing where it's like a mix of some stuff from previous and some new things. It was not that. So this is what it was. The character, hey Boy Blue, happy to have you here. The character Charmy, who, if you follow me on Twitter, you know that Charmy is one of my favorite characters in Black Clover because she is a joke character that is actually very strong, but also very fun and funny. She eats a psychedelic mushroom and has some sort of episode where she is like having like hallucinations. That's the premise of the episode. And then they show a bunch of chibi stuff. Now, a thing that happens is, as many of you know with anime stuff, is a lot of times there's like, after the closing credits, not in every episode, but in a lot of episodes of a show, there'll be like a 4-panel like joke thing. Charmy the Bee. No, no, not Boy Blue. I'm talking about Charmy from Black Clover. Charmy the Bee's pretty good. This is from the anime Black Clover. Charmy rules. Charmy is the best. She is the cook and the eater of noms and the overall lazy, goofy character who is... You got done with the Dynames today. Oh, great. Yeah, you were working on that kit for a bit there. I'm glad you were able to wrap it up. But anyway, Charmy is often shown in a chibi form. She is in a more adult form, but she is generally shown as like a young chibi character. So Petite Clover is when they just do gags. Petite Clover is their like gag 4-panel thing at the end of an episode. So they just showed all of them. Like every single gag in the series, they just showed them back to back to back, like as one episode. And there was a little bit of new at the beginning and a little bit of new at the end. But it was really just like, if you don't want to watch those closing moments of the anime, you can just watch it all together. So some fans were very unhappy. But I think I like that better than just like them taking a week off or not doing an episode at all. I think if you're going to do it, like, I kind of liked it. It wasn't like anything special, but it was better than no episode or just a complete dumb thing. You know, and it wasn't like it wasn't a numbered episode, it was a special, you know. I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it. I had forgotten a couple of the gags in it, so I thought that was kind of fun. And it was like, okay. Sometimes clip shows are good. Like on Golden Girls, indeed. So, because it wasn't even really a clip show, it was just like repackaging all the extra like bonus jokey, the comic thing called Petite. It's called Petite Clover because it's the chibi forms of them, and it's like ongoing gags. Like she says, like, it's time for Charmy's, the 7 transformations of Charmy. And then she just does 6 transformations. And, like, they've done that 3 times. And then, like, one of the characters is like, so that's all you're just doing it once, huh? Okay. I don't know. It was a fun little bit of business, and I'm not mad at it. Would I like to have a regular full episode? Of course. But still, not terribly upset. Let's see, next one. One Punch Man, Season 2 episode of One Punch Man. Good. So the animation is looking pretty good in this episode. They seem to have stepped up a little bit from the first 2 episodes. Some of the fight stuff looked really good. Metal Bat did his thing, and I'm always, as I said, I'm a big Metal Bat fan, so was happy to see Metal Bat like have his moment. Thought that was good. And I've said this. I think I've said this before. The thing I like the least about this whole period of the show or of the series, like my least favorite part of the series, is the martial arts tournament arc part of it. It's like, I don't think it's good. So I am looking forward to it being over. Because like I said, I don't think it's that great of a part of the arc. So my hope is that, we're moving along here at a pretty good pace. We'll get into some more fight stuff. We're going to see Garou fight against Bang, and that'll be really good. Because I remember that being a very good fight. So, looking forward to that. But yeah, wasn't particularly thrilled with the martial arts tournament part of it. Because it's the thing where it's like, the biggest thing that One Punch Man has to deal with as a show is that he's gonna fucking win. Saitama's always gonna fucking pull it off because he's the One Punch Man, goddammit. So of course he's gonna pull it off. Of course he's gonna get it done and do the thing. like he's the man. Like he's gonna pull this off. Like it's dumb to think he won't. So the lead up, like the bigger lead ups to the fights, are always kind of lame, in my opinion, because like we get it, we know what's about to happen. Oh, that goes like that. I got it now. Was having some trouble getting this piece connected. So overall, it was good. There were some funny gags in it. Uh, there's a whole thing about this guy that like he's gonna win and then propose to his girlfriend, uh, and then like he's like, "Oh, I got beat. Oh no. Oh, it turns out she's not here, so it's okay." And him being like, "Oh, okay." So the lead up is a lot. So sometimes the lead up is the joke, Brown Lantern. Like we got this big monster who's like crushed everybody, and then like it's over in one punch, right? I recommend the first season. I think the first season is really fun and good. And then there's comedy stuff with breaking up the seriousness. But I'm talking about like uh there are episodes where like it's not a big bad that he's then gonna punish. It's like a lame-o. It's like somebody who other characters in the show are gonna be able to beat up really easily. So it doesn't mean anything when it's not like there's a monster character. There's a character who's like not an actual monster, but he's like a human. He's the one of the toughest humans they've ever seen. Like he's bad news. He's gonna do some damage to people, and then like he's wrecked people. So when Saitama just like chops him and after no selling a chop of his own, that's like, oh shit. But when you have like this guy who's like, nah, you suck. There's so many people that are going to beat you. Like it doesn't matter when that guy's like got a lot of bravado and he's like, I'm going to take you down. It's like, no, you're not. You're not going to take him down. Don't worry about it. Um, I don't know. That's my opinion anyway. Yeah. There's still some good stuff in this episode, and I'm excited for more because there are some cool characters that make appearances in the show. So I'm excited to see more of them. I think the kid who makes gadgets is going to show up soon. I really like him because there's a kid that like builds like gadgets and inventions, and then he has his first like fight where he's like, "Wait a minute, I'm a kid. What am I doing here? Like, what if they beat my inventions and robots? I'm a kid. What am I doing?" And it just makes me like this like sudden realization. Just like, oh wait, why am I here? Made me laugh so much in the manga that I'm excited to see it in the anime. I'm hoping that the voice actor is good in the Japanese for that. Jumping right along to the other show I want to talk about. I got three more because there's so much anime. It's not like there's a lot of great, but there's a lot that comes out on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Let's see. Wise Man's Grandchild. This episode was a lot of building. Like, there's going to be some shit going down, so we kind of set up the shit that's going to go down. Not a lot happened in it. It was fine. I thought this was going to be the show where there are consequences, because it seemed like they were setting up that there was going to be consequences in this isekai, which is interesting to me because it's always interesting to me when there are consequences for things like that. But if there are going to be consequences, they haven't really done any work to really make that seem like they're going to be. Like I talked about before, our hero murdered a dude. Now that dude was shitty and was possessed and it was turning into a demon. So like, you gotta. But there's still like there isn't a scene where like he has to like talk to the parents or like he's like branded a hero and I'm like, oh, I thought they were going to do something with this and they aren't. And maybe they still will. But I don't know. I feel like this might just be a thing that like where nothing there are no consequences and nothing bad happens. Even though it looked like, because the idea of in a third episode of a show, the main good guy of an isekai, like having to like murder a classmate of his because there's no other way. It's kind of interesting, but apparently not. I find it interesting, and the mangaka did not. Uh, it is kind of fun because he's like talking about magic stuff and all that. Because he's in a world where a lot of the best magicians think that you have to chant to visualize magic, and he's like, "No, you just have to visualize it. You need magical ability and like power to do it. You don't need like chants." And he's just like completely fucked up the way that people think magic is done, and that's kind of fun because occasionally there'll just be there's a running gag where he's just like, "Oh, you do this thing," and people were like, "Wait, what?" Yermit is now following. Hello, Yermit, and welcome. There's also a quick little gag where like he's buying accessories for everyone to up their magical defense, and he had just bought one of the characters like a ring that he like made to have like higher defense or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get something for all of you," and there's a shot of all the boys in the class like posing like they're gonna have rings, like kind of like they're, I don't know. It was a cute little moment, and he's like, "No, I'm not gonna get you rings." I don't know. It was a fun little gag because I don't know. There's a bunch of minor characters that I don't give a shit about in that show, but it's kind of fun when even a show that's about a magical high school still has like a high school moment, where like kids are kids and goofing around, even though they're talking about like enchanting rings to protect them against evil magic that's going to get thrown at them very soon. It's pretty good. Pretty okay show. Last sticker. Replying to last sticker here. Going to put this on here, and then we'll be ready to move on to continue assembly. So that's Wise Man's Grandchild. It's still fine. Let's see. Next one I want to talk about is the Rising of the Shield Hero. Some shit. The conspiracy shit is happening. The thing that was very obvious for the whole time was that it wasn't just the evil princess who was fucking over the shield hero. It's part of a grand conspiracy done by the church. The Pope is the literal Pope. This country's Pope is behind the conspiracy because they are attempting to take over the monarchy, and they were using the evil princess as a pawn. She's still evil, but they were using her. It did lead to a good meme there because there's a photo of him being like, "I won't be fooled," and then I put, "when you are currently being fooled," because he has been. Because the spear hero is real dumb. Proto Men, are they anything like Boys to Men? Asked Dr. Jones. No, Dr. Jones. The Proto Men. Now, the Proto Men could cover some Boys to Men and have fun with it. The Proto Men are a band that do rock operas about the fictional worlds within Mega Man. Proto Men. They wear makeup, and one guy's got a helmet, and they do, like I said, rock operas, and then also a very beautiful, legitimately great cover of Total Eclipse of the Heart that I very much enjoy. But they're a good nerdcore band, or not nerdcore, but like a good nerdy band. Yeah, they do dope Mega Man songs. Yeah, they're great. You should totally check them out. The Proto Men are cool and weird. Alex drummed to one of their songs on his Xbox stream. Yes. These are all my bits. Well, thank you, Dr. Jones. Thank you for those bits. I appreciate it very much. They go, that is very helpful. Help out with the payouts here. So thank you for that. So let's spam the old emotes there for Dr. Jones. Thank Dr. Jones for that. I'll throw in my emotes there. And why not? I'll throw in the scythe as well. But yeah, talking about here? Oh yeah, the Rising of the Shield Hero. Yes, so the grand conspiracy has finally been revealed. Maybe the Spear Hero, the guy who sucks, is going to join forces with the Shield Hero. They got to fight against some really tough big old magic if they want to survive this. I am expecting them to be saved immediately by some sort of big event. I expect that anyway. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm expecting a salvation moment to come. Two. All right. But yeah, overall, it's a fine enough show. I'm not like, oh, I forgot. Did I forget a piece? I did forget a piece. Got to put a piece in here. Yeah. Rising the Shield Hero. Like, the more they move away from some of the shit that I just did not like about the show, the more I'm fine with it. It's not my favorite by a long shot, but it's not bad of a show. And then a show that I might be done with. I think I am done with this show because I don't think it's fun, and I'm not really liking it, is the Helpful Fox Senko-san. And it just comes down to the problem I've had with the show the entire time I've been watching it. It was a late addition to Crunchyroll. I think that like the couple episodes had already been out before they got the license to put it out, so I hadn't watched it. So I've talked about this before. The premise of this show is there's a fox demigod that shows up because there's a dude who, like, the grind of like working and like he's a good guy, but he's being overworked and he needs some help, and he's gonna get that help in the form of a demigod fox who's gonna show up and be like cute and fun and like help him out and like draw him a bath and like do whatever the fuck. But this dude isn't there's nothing about this dude that, like, other than him being, here's the thing, he's a nice guy or whatever, but he's also like kind of weird because he's just creepy about her tail, and it's like I just think I'm done with it. I just think I'm done with it. Like I said, I want to give it a chance, but like the creepiness of it is too much. It's too creepy in some spots for me to overlook it. And it's anime. Like, some of it's going to be creepy, and you just go, yep, all right, well, okay. But I think I had said that my hope was that the introduction of another character in a previous episode was going to kind of fill out the world. And she's, like, barely in it this episode. And they introduce another fox, and she's not better of a character at all or interesting. And so I was like, no thanks. So yeah, long story short, the Helpful Fox Senko-san, I think, is not that great, and I'm probably done with it. All right, let's finish. Speaking of done with, we are almost done with our Gundam here, Gundam Bael. There. So that's the anime that I've been watching. I watched a few more episodes of what's it called? Yawamushi Pedal. I've watched a few more episodes of that and really like it. That show continues to be really good. There's some characters that I'm like are weird in a way that I don't necessarily love, but still fine. And overall, that show has a lot of heart, and I really like it. So I'm going to keep watching it. I think it's good. All right, so here are the wings. We can now assemble the wings in the back of our kit here. Got our rockets there. And these move around and kind of do whatever, and these things are adjustable here. Kind of spread out a little bit. Then we can pick our swords here and put the swords in the hands, because you know me. If I can do it, I'm going to put a sword in. And I like that so you can go and kind of... Oops. So we'll take the swords out here. Yeah, if there's a weapon, I like to display the weapon. There. All right. And then we'll just do that. I like the gold on these blades. I think that's a good color. But yeah, that's our Gundam Bael. It's a fun kit. And then we've got a few extra pieces here. Really, all we've got is like a different head. We could build like a slightly different head for it if we wanted to. And then the feet coverings here we could change up a little bit. And I do like that the full mechanics kit occasionally come with a few altered pieces. Looking forward to seeing Detective Pikachu this weekend. Hell yeah, Ultron. I think I said this at the beginning of the stream. I believe I'm going on Saturday afternoon. I'm going to go with some friends and their kids, which was the solution to my, like, oh, I want to go on Saturday, but do I want to just, like, looks good. Nice work, crowd. Thank you very much, Euromit. This is a beautiful kit. I just like the colors are so nice, and it was a nice build. We're going to move on to another kit. I'll take a photo of this after the stream is done for Twitch or for Twitter and for my Patreon. Not Patreon, the Discord, I should say. But yeah, this arm is being wonky, but should be okay. Should at least be okay for the photo. But yeah, looks like on Saturday I'm going to see Detective Pikachu, so I'm excited about that. Yes, this arm is just falling out. Just bad. So we'll see if we can get that in there like that. There we go. But yeah, I'll take a photo of this after the stream is done. And then we will move on. So, for folks that don't know, the RE100 line is a way to do kits that are big scaled, that you wouldn't necessarily as a master grade. And basically, a lot of what it entails is they're going to be like some hollow chunks, or it's kind of like the RE100 isn't like a graded kit, but it's like somewhere in between a high grade and a master grade. It is, in my opinion anyway, the equivalent of doing the real grade, which is the 144 scale, which is like not a high grade, not a master grade, but in that scale. It's kind of like that. I'll probably see Detective Pikachu on Monday, so there are less kids there. Yeah, Lord Crashington, that's like, I'm going to a place with their kids, but I'm going with kids, so I think that's like a happy medium. And that way I get to see it through their eyes, and that's fun. I was thinking about just going tomorrow with a friend in the afternoon, but those plans seem to have changed. We do have this rubber here. I don't know what these pieces are for, but they're rubber, and that's weird. Then got some weapons. But yeah, the RE100 is a fun line. We've done a couple kits in this scale or this style before. I'm excited to do more of it. Only a couple stickers, which is great. Always appreciate that. And plenty of rubber connectors, like a high grade should. I like this a lot. So this kit is, what is this kit? This is the 2018. This is one of the most modern kits we've done. It might be the most modern kit that we've built, the Reborn 100, the RE100. Because we've done a few 2018 kits, but a lot of them have been re-releases. So I love this page. It tells me that we're going to start with the chest, then we're going to do the head unit, then we're going to do the arms, then we'll do the waist, the legs, combine it all together, put the backpack on with the weapons, build the two weapons, and we're done. The big cannon, the beam rifle, and then we're done. That's great. I really appreciate that, and I like that. But yeah, this is like lots of stuff in English, which is awesome. Lots of explanations of what's going on. Like, when people ask about like getting into model kits, you know, the thing I always say is do a 100 scale high grade, right? And buy something modern. Unless you're really like, if you're like, I really love Gundam, I've been watching it for decades. Then you can maybe get a kit that is kind of old, but because you know it very well and you know what it's supposed to look like, it's no problem. But if you're just like, I don't really know, I want to build a cool robot, like, then get a very modern kit. Get it something from 2017, 2016. Get a high grade in the 1/100 scale. You know, you're gonna end up with something very cool. Uh, the full mechanics line I really like. You know, we just built the Bael there. There was nothing tricky about that kit. There were a couple pieces that I was like, huh, what does this want? But nothing like super complicated. And I would say that if you're just kind of getting into it, um, don't do a real grade. If you're going to do the 1/4 scale, do a high grade at first. Don't start with a real grade because real grades can be complicated. It can be tough. Uh, a friend of mine was like, I haven't assembled a model kit in a really long time. I but I bought on Star Wars Day. I bought some Star Wars kits, and I was like, oh no, those Death Stars can be not Death Star, but the some of those kits, some of those Bandai kits, I did not have fun building, as you know. People that have been around the channel for a while know I didn't enjoy building those. So I was like, okay, all right, well, good luck. And I guess he's doing all right, but I remember like Poe's one had all those tiny, tiny chrome pieces, and they were not fun, and I did not enjoy putting them together. So I hope my friend is having fun with that. But yeah, we're working on a new kit. Oh, shoot, I didn't even change the photo. Sorry, there we go. There's the gun cannon. Apologies, folks. I didn't change the photo on the sides. How will we even know what we're doing? We won't get super far in this. You know, got another 20 minutes of stream, but we'll get some stuff done here. We'll start to get a little bit in. Do 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 do. Nice shade of blue. Yes, I think the blue is really great. I love the red that's just kind of there, just doing its thing. In the original version, in the Zeta, the first time this thing appeared as like a prototype, like there were going to be more of them, but they didn't finish them, uh, it was red, which I really liked. And then when it showed up here in Unicorn, which is the version we're building here, it it is now a pretty nice blue color. Yeah, like this this shade of blue is pretty great. Nice dark blue. And also, like, considering we just built a very white kit, it's a nice change of pace. Yeah, someone who's asked to remain anonymous bought this off my wish list. I'm very pleased that they did because it's a kit that I was excited to build. All right. Is there anything you want to chat about tonight in the next 20 minutes or so, let me know if there's anything going on with y'all you want to like jump in on. I'm always up for that as I start to assemble this kit. All right, so we'll do that. And then this goes in here. We're just doing the things that are going to connect to our arms here. Allow for some movement there. It's fun. All right. Gonna really quick just check my Twitter. All right. Okay. Easy, no? Great, great, great. Yeah, if there's anything you want to hear from me, I will have we'll be back on Saturday, obviously, with the next stream, which I'm always Always happy to do. Nice Saturday evening stream, so that'll be good. And hopefully by then I'll have seen Detective Pikachu and be able to, no spoilers, of course, but maybe talk about the experience of going and seeing it. Certainly I could talk about that without talking about anything in particular, because, spoilers are not something that I am into. Let's see here. F1. F1. I have no idea how long this kit is gonna take to build, uh, because it is an RE100. So like it could be very fast or it could be slow. I mean I feel like it's gonna take as long as the last kit we built. Is gonna be my guess. Smaller hole. Ultron asks, hey Pat, how much tabletop RPGs have you played? So, in lately, not that many. I had a Discord RPG group where we played a lot of that was really fun that I just kind of wrapped up. Looks like we're done for a while. It was a Fiasco campaign that was really fun, where we had like at one point we had 13 people involved, but as long as a couple people were there, we just did it with whoever could make it. And the idea was that it was like a mask style thing. Like we called it. I always refer to it as mask, but other people had other ways to describe what it was. But the basic idea was that it was like missions sent out by like a secret organization. So if you weren't there for it, you maybe missed some character building, but you could always like ask about like what happened. And then it was like, oh, why don't you have an arm right now? What happened to your left arm? Be like, oh, well, this thing happened. It's like, oh, cool. And then we just did this adventure. So there's a bunch of mini adventures, and different people could DM if they wanted to, or they could have like, they could DM and also have their own character involved because it was Fiasco and it's loose enough that you can kind of do it while you're DMing. You can also, or GMing, I should say, GMing. While you're GMing, you could also like be involved in the fun of it. Yeah, so like it was like spies, and there was some mysticism and magic, but it was mostly like science stuff. But there were a lot of cool characters, and like it was a little like GI Joe, like who's involved in this mission, who we pulling in for this one. It was a lot of fun, and that just wrapped up. But that was a Fiasco game, long running Fiasco series that someday I'll try to bring back in some form because it was really fun. So that for a really long time. I did a lot of Vampire the Masquerade in my youth, in my teen years. I belonged to a group that played, and I did that quite a bit. The live action stuff, which was really fun. I played Black Bayou, which was an online role-playing game, an AOL role-playing game that I participated in for a really long time. It was like played in chat rooms and on message boards. It was it was real nonsense, and it was a lot of people's like first time doing it, including my own, but I really liked it. It was like a warring vampire families was the premise. It was very fun. Um, and I don't know. I think let's see if there's anything else that I did. I mean, yeah, I did. I did some D&D stuff. Not a lot. I didn't play a lot of D&D. Like I said, I mostly played Vampire the Masquerade, which I played quite a bit. But yeah, I didn't play a whole lot of D&D. I did some, but not too much. I never had enough people who wanted to do it when I was growing up, which is annoying because I would have liked it. But yeah, I think about that. I think that would be a good. I do think that would be a good podcast, that fiasco game we were doing. It's a bunch of comedians doing it, and friends of them of theirs. It's all like friends. It was a lot of friends of friends, and sometimes you didn't know all the people that were playing. But because we started doing it on Roll20 and Discord, or, it was. We also did a Google Hangouts. We were doing it in Google Hangouts for a while, and then we started doing Discord. But like, it was pretty easy to do that. And building it so it was modular, where like people could come and go, made it so like you got to play. Because that's the real problem, obviously, with any RPG, D&D or otherwise, is you need to get people in a room, and to have like a long running campaign can be really tough to get that stuff together. And my hat's off to anyone that can pull it off, because I could never pull it off long term. I always do short term kind of games, or like, yeah, like one-offs and stuff. Ended up being a lot of what I did. This is not going to take too long to build this kit, because this is coming together pretty fast just by being here and doing it now. 2-4. I am not expecting this one to. Improv experience has to be useful for that kind of stuff. Oh, certainly. Like, I did a lot of vampire. Like, I didn't realize it at the time, but my vampire days and my days at Vampire Days is funny to say. My Vampire Masquerade days and my days playing Black Bayou and other RPGs as a youth, I didn't realize how many insert characters I was building. How I wasn't like I was just playing versions of me, or stuff that I had seen on television. So, yeah, especially Fiasco, which is so open-ended and it's so storytelling and narrative in that way, like, and Lasers and Feelings, which is another kind of game like that. Like, yeah, like having an improv background certainly helps with that. It's not essential. It's not necessary. One of my favorite people to play role-playing games with, is a guy who has never done any theater in his life. He's just a really imaginative, interesting dude, and he's fun to play games with. He was the first person that, like, I played a lot of Werewolf because, Werewolf is a fun game because you can just play it with scraps of paper. You don't even need the cards. You can just do it. You can do it with a deck of cards. You can do it with, just grab a notebook and write the jobs down that you want, and then, have someone run it. But I remember he would, like, do it as a character. Like, people would be like, look, we all know Alan's probably a werewolf. I'm not a werewolf. And then we'd just say that. But he would be like, the town needs bread. You can't get rid of me. I'm not a werewolf. I'm the bread. I'm making the bread. And be like, you don't have to do that part, but it's very funny that you're doing it. I always really liked that. Start by playing stickers first. All right, now we're working on the backpack portion. But yeah, I had some good times doing this stuff. I miss doing it more. So I'm once things get settled down a little bit, I'd like to start trying to do some simple games, Fiasco and the like. I don't know if it'll be that or find some other easy to run rules system. Because like having something where you can really easily explain it to people is so vital, because even if you're like, hey, this is the game we're playing, here are the rules, here's a YouTube video that describes it, you can only do so much ahead of time and expect people to do the research, or watch a video of it explaining it or anything like that. Like, you can only do so much because sometimes people are just going to show up and you have to just hope that you can do a good enough job explaining what you want to them. And that you'll be able to, explain yourself properly. So having an easy rule set is very helpful. All right. So then we're gonna put a sticker on A26, our first sticker of the build, which is I'm gonna have to see what the sticker looks like, because I don't know if I want to put a sticker on this. We got this clear teal piece here. So I got to put it like this because you're not going to see it in the other shot. We got this nice little clear piece here. And then we're going to put, what sticker are we going to put on? Sticker 4. Okay, that sticker is also teal, so I'm not against it. If it was like a weird other color, I might get rid of that because, but yeah, this isn't bad. All right, so we're just gonna apply the sticker. Yeah, that looks good. Did folks pick up the Fiasco rules pretty quickly? Yeah. I mean, I've taught like the rule sets a lot to a lot of different people. I think Fiasco is pretty easy to pick up because it is so like there's it's just a couple dice rolls and either it's like the thing you wanted to do worked or it didn't, or it kind of worked or it didn't, and then like really the honest to God, the hardest thing to explain about Fiasco is to people that are used to playing more guided RPGs, even D&D. Fiasco is asking you to create narrative and to talk about things and to like do a lot of the work in your mind. And so the people that have the most trouble with picking up that game are folks that are used to that aren't used to doing the work themselves and finding the fun in like being the storyteller. That people are just used to like, well, I know the magic I want to use and I know the story, I know like what I want to do here and I know like what works well against goblins. But if you're telling me that like I've got to tell you the elements of the heist I'm about to do, or I have to describe how I want this conversation to go, oh, I'm suddenly in trouble here. Like that's where people kind of falter in Fiasco. Is people who are just like not prepared to be the storyteller that they need to be for it to not really work, but like work well. I think, in my opinion, anyway. Because I think that like it's totally possible to like get overwhelmed by it if if you don't think that you have the chops for it, the energy for that kind of game. But I love the freedom of it. I think like when I barely played D&D, but I've played some D&D. I've played some games that have lots of rules and very complicated, and the GM is doing a lot of the work. And to me, it's always just like, well, are you here? Are we here to like really go through all the work of it, or are we here to like have fun with it? Like, what's up? How are we gonna play this? Ultrod says train snakes are very overwhelming as a reference to the game we played for the Giant Bomb, Beastcast, end of year. Yes, but see, that's like there's a lot of inventiveness there. And then if you just ask Dan Reichert on a Wednesday, hey Dan, will you help me develop a character and a plot for a movie? He'd be like, I can't. What? You want me to improvise and do all that? That's not what I do. But if you're just like, hey, we're gonna like have fun with these rule sets and we're doing an action movie, and you're an action movie character, then Dan's gonna be like, okay, let's have fun with it. Like there's a moment in that episode I watched it happen, where suddenly Dan like understands the possibilities of the goofiness he can do in it and the fun he can have in it, and it's suddenly like like he said during it, and especially after it, but especially even specifically during it, I get why people like this. Like, oh, I get why people are into this, which is very rewarding and fun as someone that like loves this stuff. Anyway, we're gonna wrap up there. Have more talk about that later, I'm sure. In the future, talk about role-playing games and such. That was a great topic. Thank you very much for bringing that up, Ultron. And thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for watching. If you're just following me on Twitter and come here on occasion, or you looked up Gunpla and clicked on a thing that said Gunpla, consider giving me a follow. If you've been following for a while, hey, why not become a subscriber? That would be cool. Always appreciate a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very much. It's always nice to have folks here coming in and out of the streams. Always appreciate it. And I will see you on Saturday. That'll be our next build stream. Will be on Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I will see you next time on the Baer Workshop. Bye-bye.